You have exactly 3 seconds to like and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'll appear in your dreams tonight. To ask for a donation for that cup of coffee, link below.
This is a wave of protests taking place right away. During the Indian National Day, people were stand up to demand justice for the female doctor. The 31-year-old uncle was the victim of the attack. Sex shocked the world. August 2024, however, this is not the first time Indian ferries witnessed a shocking incident. So royal, according to Thomson Reuters. In 2018, India was ranked as a nation the most dangerous spice for women, says yes, based on criteria such as violence, forced labor and trafficking. 15-minute. Another woman got sick. Rape in India. Indian women not only facing sexual violence but also must face countless other crimes. Threaten their safety every day, but why is that? Part of this problem stems from historical and cultural elements have eaten deep drum in Indian society for centuries. Patriarchal ideology stands out in the system. In this system, men play a key role. In family management, they decide, determine financial matters, and even also determines the fate of its members, especially women in many families. Men are considered the successors of the family line, sugar, while women are considered talented, property, or just a financial burden. In marriage, a woman is ruled by her husband's family, even if they were treated badly. They were even punished by the government, parents, and close relatives. This leads to the problem of male disdain. Women are seriously exposed to gender discrimination. This doesn't just happen in families, but also spreads to the entire society. Many Indian women's lives, not even worth as much as a calf, sacred object of Hinduism for men, was given ultimate power in the commune. Society includes dignity control of women, therefore they express masculinity and his rights by imposing the sexually dominate the bust. In addition, Indian women are also subject to restrictions, codes of dress and status behavior. Society, a typical example, is many years. Indian people consider it important for women to dress accordingly. Western style is no behavior, decent and even sexy to men. This leads to many men feeling cold, feel they have the right to harm women for any reason, teach without feeling guilty. A survey by the charity Action UK. In 2016, nearly 80 men Indian women suffered from harassment in public places in cities. Sadly, foreign female tourists is also a victim of this male imposition. The local community is often disrespectful with foreign female tourists because they give that the way they dress and behave. This woman is more relaxed and free compared to local customs from which men press. Naturally believe that I also have rights. Misbehaving with female tourists. Many female tourists are less fortunate. Has become a victim of these actions. Extremely horrifying impact of a female tourist. Left a comment about the travel experience. Travel in India as a female tourist. Is India susceptible to violent attacks? Hi, but you will easily face it. Acts of sexual harassment against them. Occurs more often in cities, big city and northern tourist town. Rude comments and looks. Naked, and the fact that men intentionally touch. Touching or groping women is something that happens. Quite common before this condition part. Most women in the world feel hesitant to think about traveling to India. Those who still courageously explore the country. This usually requires careful preparation, including traveling with men and dressing modestly, carefully to ensure the minister's own safety. The Indian Ministry of Culture and Tourism once had to speak up about ensuring women's safety. Foreign tourists in 2016. MIS. Sama has published a guidance document about safety for female tourists, including 3 points to note. First, avoid wearing skirts or the second revealing outfit. Don't go walking alone and be at night in towns. Small, and finally take a picture of the license plate. Then send it to relatives. More than the opinion that women should. She is responsible for her being attacked. Public works still exist in a very common way in Indian society, according to a report by J Squad in 19 had up to 50 men. Young people in India believe in wearing pants. Shortness is the reason why women become shy, become a victim of sexual harm. In addition, 6 men were certified also believes that women should accept violence. Force if it helps keep the family fire alive. This is clear evidence of private practice. The idea that patriarchy has turned into abuse, women into a personal matter, and also is the reason why many victims of violence, sexual desire feels shame and fear when reporting the incident to the police or make it public. Sounds next to sexism 1. Other cultural factors facilitate problem of sexual violence against women in India. As a caste system, in India has existed for thousands of years and still has a profound impact on society. Currently in this system there exist 4. The highest class is Brins, also known is the Brahmin caste of minor monks. The second is the caste catchers of the kings. The third is noble peacocks and warriors. Class vasses of merchant craftsmen. The last farmer was the Suras. Class of slaves and workers. Heavy work, however, the system. There is an unmerited 5th caste. Officially recognized, the Dalit caste here. The lowest caste includes the people who belong to it. This caste is considered outside of society and have to do jobs that are considered inferior. Equivalent to pouring the hexagonal equinox that accompanies it is discrimination and contempt. Along with heavy, Indian women have suffered contempt from patriarchal ideology. But if they are Dalits, they have to bear more burdens. Class discrimination, this makes them very easily become the target of sexual violence. Education. According to the latest data from the Records Department, Indian national crime from 2015 to 4. Number of reported rapes against women. Female Dalits had an average increase of 45 first per. There are 10 cases of rape of women and children every day. Dalit girls are reported in India also. According to the National Family Health Survey, 2016 Dalit women accounted for 7. APH among victims of sexual violence. Education rate is the 2nd highest in Indian society. However, these numbers are only partial. The tip of the iceberg, they are often herded. He belongs to the abusive higher castes. Because these women are hard to find. First justice, most dull women too. Poor enough to be able to hire a lawyer yourself, while the culprit may have extra money. Rented even an Apple law history. Second, because of the extra, belongs to the higher caste to plot. Giving birth to many victims who do not dare to denounce others. Attack, they fear being abandoned and pushed in. Poverty, if you have the courage to denounce them. Still being breathed by the police, actually only about 15 minutes the victim or family can wake up. Complaint, even that process fine. Sword of justice is often nailed there. Dalit women continue to be caught in a cycle. Eliminate sexual violence in both society and society. The legal system turned away. The parallel face of Indian women has a shadow. Culture is even scarier than it is real. Product of patriarchal systems and segregation. That is the class difference in this country. Honor killing we can. Unfamiliar with this term, but with Indians this is a deeply ingrained custom in indigenous culture. Basically, honor killing can be simply, it is the act of killing a person. Women by relatives to protect honor. Family when she takes independent action. Humiliating all and going against the family's wishes. Because he is a second-class citizen. Society should take responsibility for the disgrace of. Family can easily fall on top. Indian women, according to the United Nations. 1 in every 5 victims of this problem. An Indian, Punjab, Haryana, Utah. Prades and Bihar regular states. Witnessed honor killing. This is what happened to Aussie Chauhari, a 21-year-old female student in Uttar Pradesh. She was murdered by the government in October 10, 2022. Her father thinks she defamed family honor just because of arbitrarily marrying a man of a different class. The yacht complex is a typical example. The tragedy is called honor v. murder. Indian women have no rights, freedom of choice. They are bound to the social norms of marrying at the right class, the right religion, and even the same country. Citizenship and the price to destroy the merits. This invisible field may be the network itself. Live of. When they come here, you may ask questions. Why doesn't the Indian government do it? Sex education policies to raise awareness for people, because in a country with heavy customs like India, the implementation of sex education is useless. Extremely complex social topic. Anything related to sex is always considered sensitive and even taboo at home. Curious children ask their parents about this issue. Usually avoid them or advise them to pay attention. On other issues, a year study, 2015, showed that there were 88 male students, 58 female college students at residential schools. Mumbai admitted that they never did receive sex education from father. Instead, they have to figure it out themselves through books. Magazines and other media in that scene sex education, are also almost forgotten in the system. Educate many teachers to avoid teaching internally. This content in biology is because of fear. Stigma from society this leads to. Many teenagers grow up without correct understanding of gender or respect. Respect others in relationships, acts of violence and sexual harassment. That's why it's worth mentioning. Despite suffering the deepest hurt, Indian women are difficult to reach. Sex education to protect yourself. It's simply a matter of patriarchal ideology, stifling opportunities, access to education and knowledge of Indian women in many. The family's decision to send their daughter to school is considered illegal, is to move away from the traditional role of the assistant. Women like to get married and become housewives. That investing in women's education is. It's a waste, and that money should be spent on your children. Boys therefore have the opportunity to go to school for women. India was restricted from the roots, even when get an education Indian women still face, with great challenges in continuing. Access to sex education for female students are often encouraged to avoid talking about, especially sensitive topics first. Face male students and male teachers forgiven. That it is inappropriate. In addition to that, the schools often separate boys and girls. Female students leave students with fewer opportunities to learn and understand the other gender. With these intersections, Indian women will still face countless challenges in equipping yourself with knowledge. Necessary knowledge for self-protection. Ham music. Protect what's going on in India. Just the problem of society is legacy too. Past, but also reflects the inadequacies of the whole system. The legal system is poor even in this country. Has enacted many laws to protect women, female, but the enforcement of these laws. There are still many shortcomings in practice. The government of India has recognized many varieties. Concurrent crimes against women. The country has issued 13 codes for each. Separate crime categories for secondary protection. Women may notice that the government of India never ignore the rights of women, currently recognized by current laws. Most of the problems that D had to face like that. Why is the legal system still criticized for not being able to protect women? There are two main causes leading to love. This condition is the existence of many interstitial spaces. The second loophole in the legal system is the cover-up by those in power, with the culprits with the first cause. First, it can be identified that the Dharma system, Indian law, is a quantitative system, but most of these laws lack substance. There are still many serious vulnerabilities, with regulations lacking clarity, and this also creates gaps, so that violations can easily slip through, making it difficult for victims to find justice. A typical example of this pink hole is Prohibition and Resolution Act, sexually harassing women in the workplace. In 2013, this law lacked specific, can cause difficulty in identification. The first country puppet behavior is defined. Sexual homeland in statute no. Clearly makes it difficult for the victim to prove the acts they have to endure. Chapter 1 of the Act instead. Use the specific language of this statute again. Use vague words like preferential treatment. First, or interfere with phrase word. Humiliating treatment also cause many disputes. Arguing over these phrases can be easy. Interpreted in many different ways from. That creates conditions for violators. Justifying his behavior on Monday Kai. Complaints are also very complicated. The victim does not know where to start from. Again, justice works with many agencies. Inadequate training leads to a lack. Synchronization when implementing this law, therefore. Case information may not be saved. Move quickly between stakeholders. That leads to the settlement of the case. Delayed cases such as Nee's family. Baya had to go through a tug of war. It took 8 years to be able to bring these guys. Raped and murdered their daughter. Justice and investigation process. Nor is there a kernel protection system. Effective evidence this leads to. Many people do not dare to testify because they are worried. Fear they will be retaliated against. System failure. But the worst is still cruelty. Of the hearts of many law enforcement officials. Continue to cling to old ideas. Still ingrained in the mind associated with the disaster. Corruption and abuse of power are widespread in India. This has led to a situation of mandarins. Cover for the perpetrator instead of protecting. Justice in many cases of sexual violence. Be treated fairly because the offender has. Empty back. Some police judges have acquitted the perpetrator for believing that they only do their social duty. Women are the cause of the incident. In the end, the victim just had to accept it. Unfair results can be seen in the legal system. India's weak laws have failed to protecting women's safety for decades. Effective to truly protect Indian women. Is there a need for a comprehensive reform? Just stop at changing the rules. It is also necessary to raise social awareness and ensure proper enforcement of the law. Seriously, even though the current picture is still gloomy, But the change is silently taking place. Brought the hope of a literary India, smarter and safer for women today. Each case involves not only women but also men. The world also courageously stood up to protest, demand justice for the weaker sex. Progressive movements such as Me Too have also been implemented, declared and received strong influence. In this country, India still has a place. Long way to become a truly safe place. All for women, but with the efforts of social government and individual hope.